Vice President Harris is getting ready to deliver what her campaign is calling her closing argument. She will speak from the same spot where former President Donald Trump spoke before the January 6th riot back in 2021. Right now, the race is extremely tight. Look at this, with the vice president leading in the polling. That is according to our partners at the Hill and Decision Desk HQ, but it's a lead of less than 1 point. Correspondent Kelly Meyer is live for us in Washington. Kelly, do we know the tone of tonight's message?
Well, as you said there, Nichole, Vice President Kamala Harris is going all in on this closing message, making it all about former President Donald Trump, and the campaign telling us she's going to be asking Americans to turn the page on the Trump era. And as you notice behind me, she's using the backdrop as the White House strategically to paint the picture for Americans of who they want to see in the White House for the next 4 years, saying that this decision is in front of them in 1 week on Election Day. Now, this is a message that we've been seeing the campaign ramp up in the last few weeks of this race. Certainly has been a message throughout the campaign, but really focusing in on who former President Donald Trump, they say, is, and the danger they say he poses if he wins a second term in the White House. Their focus here is picking up those Republican voters who are on the fence about voting for former President Donald Trump, or are anti-Trump, or maybe supported former Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley and don't know where to go. That is who they are also speaking to here today. And as you mentioned there, Nichole, she is doing this from the same spot where former President Donald Trump spoke from on January 6, 2021, ahead of that attack at the U.S. Capitol. So she's doing this for two reasons: painting the picture for Americans of the choice of who goes into the White House, and trying to draw Donald Trump to that moment and remind voters of who she says he is. Now, it comes as the race is still neck and neck. The latest from Decision Desk HQ at this hour, Harris has a 0.8 percentage point lead. This is based on 305 polls across the country. Harris, 48.6%, Trump, 47.8%. Yesterday, when we were talking, it was 48.5% for Harris and Trump 48.0%. So it does shift a little bit. But we will be watching to see Harris here on this stage behind us later this evening, as she is spending her time here in Washington, D.C., 1 week out from Election Day, to make this case to the American people, Nichole.
So, Kelly, is there concern among Democrats that the vice president may be focusing too much of her closing message on the former president?
And we have been hearing that concern from either Democratic voters, Democratic officials, or strategists, saying that she should be focusing more on herself, who she is, introducing herself to the American people, and what policy platforms she plans to put into place. But the Harris campaign would argue that she is going to come out here today and talk about who she is and talk more about her plan for the middle class. And when Harris was asked about this on Friday, just about the concern of whether or not she should be focusing this much on former President Trump, she had this to say. Take a listen.
One of the things that I love about the American people is we can hold many thoughts at once. And one of the highest priorities for the American people right now is bringing down cost, and that is the priority of my agenda and will be the priority of my work when I'm elected President of the United States. My priority includes fighting for our democracy, including fighting for the freedom of people to make decisions about their own body.
There is a concern that attacking former President Trump's character and stamina is a less effective approach with 1 week to go. Nichole.
All right, Kelly Meyer live for us there in D.C. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.